Hey everyone, it's Alex, and we have ourselves a very different video today because I have to take a moment to say thank you to each and every one of you for your tremendous amount of support for me over the last several years in Marvel Snap. And this post on the Marvel Snap subreddit is absolutely incredible. I can't even begin to explain how not only surprised I was to see this, but of course how touched I was to read through these comments, which we're going to go through a bunch of them together here and kind of give you some comments and thoughts on them behind the scenes. But this really meant a lot to me. It really did. And I want you guys to know that I appreciate each and every one of you beyond measure. There isn't a day that goes by that I'm not grateful for what I have in my content creator journey. And you guys are a huge part of that. And the fact that you've stuck with me through the years, through the ups and downs of Marvel Snap does not go unnoticed for me. And the fact that, you continue to tune into the Snapchat every week and you continue to post positive comments on the videos and engage, even if you're someone who doesn't even play Marvel Snap anymore, it truly means a lot to me. And this post, it was something special. I kind of made a comment on the Snapchat just in passing. This was supposed to be more of a joke about how the subreddit hated me, and you guys came out in full force to prove me wrong. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. And this post was actually, my brother sent this to my parents so they could read through it, so they can kind of see the positivity and the good that we've done in this community. And my wife read through it as well, alongside my daughter. My boys, they don't care, they're too young. But it was incredible how just the positivity and how it kind of not just went through me, but it also really kind of perpetuated through my family as well. And they all want us to just say thank you for the absolute tremendous amount of kindness you've shown, because these types of things, they're not insignificant. If you're someone who is focused on performance and numbers, well, Marvel Snap's, those numbers have been waning for the longest time. So what keeps you motivated? What keeps you going? It's you guys that keep me going. It's your support and this wonderful community we've built over the last several years. And so I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I thought that it would be awesome to go through some of these comments here and give you a little bit of perspective into, what I'm thinking and of course what my perspective is as a Marvel Snap content creator. So let's talk about the first one here. He's a king and I love his endless positivity. A truly wholesome and kind dude. I hope he's enjoying his trip to Costco right now. Funnily enough, after yesterday's stream and probably when this was up, I did go to Costco. I made dinner for the kids after they were done. I went to Costco, picked up some stuff for them, and here I am. And no, they don't know that time I took Kang to the finals in the tournament. I'm working on that still. But the thing I want to kind of focus in on is the endless positivity. First of all, I think the world could use a little bit more of that these days. And another thing I want to mention is that I have more fun if I'm having fun. Right? I mean, I think that makes more sense. And I think that when you're watching one of my videos and you can see that I'm having fun and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, win or lose, I feel like it comes through in the video and you can feel it, right? And that has not been lost on me. And so what I've been trying to do is engage in Marvel Snap in a way that I feel like is fun and engaging for me and you guys. For instance, I don't grind on the ladder anymore. I just don't do it. Kind of like when I'm just playing on my own time or whatever, I'm just trying to make new decks, do some fun creative stuff. And I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to play the game. I want to see the stuff happen. And so that is one of the changes I made. It's less about grinding and seeing if my number can get bigger and more about actually enjoying what I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons why I engage with Deadpool's Diner so much. And the limited game modes are fun because I like the removal from the ladder. I want to just play the game and enjoy it because that is what a game is supposed to be at the end of the day. And in terms of the endless positivity, I think it's important that we look at things through the lens of positivity because it'll give you perspective when things need to be kind of evaluated in a more negative light or a more critical light, I should say. So I do try to be as positive as possible, but also as fair as possible with my analysis into what Secondary's doing, the state of the game and stuff like that. But generally speaking, I'm very fortunate to have what I have. I'm very fortunate to be able to play a game that I love and share it with a community who I respect. And so, this does mean a lot to me. Just like this next one, which honestly, it really struck a chord with me. Alex is one of my favorite content creators. Dude makes the most wholesome content, spreads nothing but positivity, and is a great example that you don't need to be in your 20s to find success as a creator. This actually means a lot to me, and I hope that it resonates with some of you who may be thinking about doing content creation and kind of putting yourself out there, because one of the most challenging things about content creation is putting yourself out there in the first place. Most people that want to make content, they struggle to even get that first step, to start the channel, click record, and just press play on their camera, right? It just doesn't happen. That first step is so critical. And it's often because, I understand, right? The idea of what are people going to say when they encounter my channel? What are my coworkers going to think and stuff like that? And And I feel that absolutely. I'm a teacher, right? Like I have students that, kind of poke around the content. I have teachers that do the same, and a lot of teachers are judgmental about, what I do and the fact that I create gaming content and stuff like that. You're going to encounter those things. Absolutely. I'm not going to pretend like you don't. But here's the truth. You also look at the beautiful things that you find too, the beautiful engagements that you have, the community that we've built here. The fact that this subreddit posted this thread here is proof positive that all of the negativity doesn't matter. These types of interactions that are truly humbling and just amazing, this is what you miss out on when you don't put yourself out there. And it is difficult, as being someone who's nearly 40, and sometimes it feels like I'm an old man in a young guy's game, but realistically, it's not that way anymore. In fact, I'm sure many of you are my age, right? Let's be honest, right? A lot of you watching this video are likely to be approximately my age or even older. It's a totally different world now. And I think that there's an opportunity for each and every one of you if you're interested in content creation. With that being said, it is a lot of work, and it's something that, if you actually go through to this channel and you scroll all the way down to my old stuff, I produced content for years, like hundreds and hundreds of videos on Dota 2 and variety gaming and stuff like that, all of which was relatively unsuccessful. But what it did was it prepared me for the opportunity to find success in Marvel Snap. And so every video is a lesson, every opportunity is blessed. And so I consider myself extremely fortunate to be in the position I am. But yes, you don't need to be in your 20s to be successful as a creator. And I encourage any one of you that are interested to definitely put yourself out there. I know it can be stressful, but it's genuinely rewarding. It is genuinely rewarding as long as you love the process and you don't focus on the numbers, because the numbers can disappoint you, but the process can be what you find the enjoyment in. In terms of Snap creators, he claps cheeks. He's aging like fine wine. I appreciate that. I love this. Wait, is this Prodigy? This is hilarious. This is definitely a reference. Oh, I understood that reference. And Rez Snapper, that's a callback to the Prodigy. I'll put it up on the screen here. The Prodigy kind of graphic that Rez Snapper had made. It was so funny. This one here, I felt so bad when he thought Reddit hated him. He seems like a lovely bloke and a proper wholesome dad. I think what it is that as content creators, we get a lot of negativity thrown our way as well. I'm not good enough for this player who wants to be higher ranked, or whatever it happens to be. There's a million reasons why somebody is going to kind of take a look at you and find holes to poke. And unfortunately, you talk to any content creator, for every 10 messages you get, that one negative one, sometimes it's the one that stands out. You're like, really? They hate my haircut? Like, how's that even possible? No, I'm just joking. No one ever really compliments my haircuts. I don't get haircuts that often, but it's often the negative comments that stand out more. I don't know if it's human nature or what it is, but what I've been trying to do over the last little while is focus more on the positivity, the connections that are being built, as opposed to the people that are choosing to be negative. And I will tell you, in my case, I honestly don't get many negative comments at all. My comments are generally unfiltered. I do have a couple comment moderators that do kind of keep a tab on things for any negativity, usually towards other creators and stuff, which I tend not to like. Come at me, don't come at people that are a guest on my show or whatever have you, right? But generally speaking, it's interesting to think that, like, human nature is that you tend to fixate on some of the negative stuff here and there. But I think it stems back to maybe I haven't been on the subreddit probably since Marvel Snap's launch. And that was one of those things where, I guess it's easy to find negativity when you're trying to break into a scene that you weren't traditionally a part of. Like, I wasn't a traditional card gaming content creator at the time. I was coming from the Dota scene. And so as a result, maybe there were people that just didn't vibe with my style, right? And over time, I think that I've proven that I'm here for you guys, and I want to be supportive of what you guys need from a content creator perspective, and also what I can provide it in the best way I possibly can. And I think that has kind of like outshone the negativity. And so I've definitely been corrected by the subreddit. You guys clearly don't hate me, and I appreciate that so much. Him, Regis, and Dexter are my three goats. I mean, absolutely beautiful people. And that's one thing I will say, that the content creator scene in Marvel Snap is unlike any other I've ever seen. It's truly collaborative, and these are really kind people even behind the scenes. Like, no one's putting up a facade. These are wonderful people, and I truly appreciate every one of you guys. as far as content creator goes, Alex is aging like fine wine. It's so funny. A lot of my the vernacular that I've included into the Marvel Snap community, like aging like fine wine, clapping cheeks, all that stuff. It's so funny to think that these are things I just kind of said randomly, and now they've almost become part of like the phrasing of speech in the community. Like people will say like, "Oh, I got clapped in this game" or whatever. Like it's funny how like I've kind of had an impact on that. Alex is great. He makes me laugh every time I watch or listen to Snapchat. Who could hate a guy that has 34 kids? It's 4. It can feel like 34 sometimes. And that's one thing as well. Like as a content creator, it's so hard because like even today, like I'm recording this just before like I got to pick up my kids from school. Like there's this little time frame I have. And so the result is that like I get the kids from school, then my daughter has soccer, and then while my daughter's at soccer, all 3 of the boys, they have swimming lessons, and then I drive my daughter from soccer right to the swimming lesson place because her time starts an hour after the boys because she's at soccer. So she starts to swim, and then while she's swimming, my wife stays with her. I take the 3 boys, I take them home, I get them ready for bedtime. Like this is what our nights and days look like. It's me going to work, and then it's like ping-ponging from different kids' activities, and then eventually I'm totally gassed and it's time to actually record a video or do something afterwards. And I look at the time, it's like, oh man, it's 10:30. Kind of wish I was just laying in bed right now, but we got to get a video out, you know what I mean? It's been a lot. It's been a lot, and I have been struggling with a little bit of burnout lately, but thankfully it's you guys that keep me dialed in. So much love for Alex Coccia, single-handedly holding the community together with style. It's awesome. I'm very fortunate to be a part of this community. I'm not holding it together. I'm just a part like anyone else. And it's you guys that have traditionally done an amazing job of being positive and being supportive of myself and other creators as well. Part of this one's pretty interesting too. His new card opinions are very helpful, and as are his top 10 decks of the week. I don't want to rely on him for deck building content, but everything else Snap related, Alex is my guy. That's absolutely fair. What I will say is that so I have decks that definitely whiff. I have decks that definitely hit. But the idea behind that is I try to approach every single week in the new cards coming out, not just like how can I slot this card into whatever existing archetype is really good right now, and oh look, it's doing well. I try to be very creative. I say, okay, first of all, what existing archetypes does it go into? And then I try to come with like literally 4 different completely new decks. And sometimes those decks are garbage and they don't work well. And that's part of the process though. That's part of the learning process of like testing things. Because if I didn't do that, if I didn't approach new things and new archetypes as a manner of like, okay, let's figure this out, I perhaps wouldn't have stumbled across like the Bullseye deck, which has literally been consistent since the day Bullseye released. Because we got there, you know what I mean? And if we just had slotted into random things that like, we knew were going to work and we didn't try to be creative, we never would have come to that deck. We would never have figured that out. Probably someone eventually would have, but we did it on the first day because of our willingness to experiment. And so I do think that I've actually had a bunch of decks be absolute top tier over the past couple of years. But deck building is tricky, and when you start to incorporate statistics, what you're often finding is I might have had the correct shell, but the most optimal deck that ends up in the top 10 decks of the week will be like 1 or 2 cards off, right? And that's what I often strive for. Okay, how close can I get? And then once the statistics come in, we might be a card or 2 off, but damn, do we get close? We often see stuff like that. Alex records at 3 a.m., wakes up the next morning to his day job as a teacher, rinse and repeat, nothing but respect for him. It is exhausting. And this is something that my wife and I have spoken about at length. There were nights where like literally I would have to edit into the night and like not even go to bed. I would just like drop the kids off at school and drive to work without sleeping. It was non-sustainable. And so what I did was I kind of really looked at the core tenets of my channel, the core tenets of my content, and said, okay, what are the videos that I absolutely have to get out? What are the ones my audience relies on? And I focused on those and tried to make those the best possible videos they could be. And then I got rid of some of like the usual kind of casual deck video stuff, which I still try to do from time to time. But the reason why I did that was because it was just too much. And a lot of it's not just the work, it's the dad side of it. It's like, it's almost easier to be at work, honestly, than to be ping-ponging off all this after school activities that my kids do and stuff, right? So it is very difficult, but it's very rewarding. I do love my job. I get to interact with a wonderful group of students every single day. I am fortunate. My whole life's a blessing. And I appreciate you guys for recognizing how much work I put into it, because it isn't easy. It definitely isn't easy, especially on the YouTube side, because YouTube, you have to be prepared. You have to have ideas for the videos. You can't like Twitch streaming. I can just turn on a stream, rip some games and put the time in. But when it comes to YouTube videos, you have to be structured, you have to be prepared, and you have to be willing to put the work in order to produce the best possible product you can. Yeah, that's right. I don't drink beer, but that's a little shot of Canadian rye for you there. Alex merch. I want a shirt that says "Oh, the humanity" and him making a shock face. I want one with his face. This is 4.5 stars. I want a "This man claps cheeks" shirt with his face on it. I want a hydration Robert shirt. One where he's holding up a glass of wine that says "Ages like fine wine." I can't think of anything more right now. Anything Kirkland is merch. That's hilarious. I never thought of that till I saw it. Like, should we actually do merch? Is that something you guys would buy? Like, I don't even know how I would go about even doing that. I don't want to like profit off you guys or anything like that. It's not the intention. But if merch is something you guys are interested in, maybe we actually think about it. I have no idea how I would even do that. I do know that like it's possible, and YouTube has like a little carousel under the videos that you can like buy stuff in, but it always seems way too expensive to me. There's a sweater, it'll be like $65. I can't pay $65 for a sweater. What are we doing here, right? Oh man, let me know if you guys want merch. These are great ideas though. And if you have ideas for merch, let me know in the comments like what other ideas you have. I like the Ages like fine wine. That's good. I like that. They're all good. This is all funny. Oh man, that's absolutely hilarious. Okay, so this one's a really interesting one as well. I watched his latest Snapchat with Nina. Normally I tune in for both him and Cozy unless I like the guest. Cozy's such a chill dude too, and these two bounce off each other so well. There's a couple things here I want to unpack. Now, first of all, it cannot be understated how much like practice that Cozy and I have put in over the years. Literally hundreds and hundreds of hours of working with one another, to the point where like even the way I can tell he's ending a sentence halfway through his sentence based on the way he's enunciating the words. He can do the same for me. It's just such a smooth process. We have refined our craft as podcast co-hosts to the point where recording with Cozy is like strolling on a walk on the beach with him. It's impeccably easy. And I miss the dude. I do, because it is unbelievably difficult to bring in new people every single week with new setups and new audio profiles and all those different things and getting the schedules worked out and stuff like that. It is incredibly difficult, but it's also incredibly important at the same time. So let me explain. When I was in the Dota 2 community, I was a relatively small creator. And pretty much every creator in that space, with the exception of one, I'm going to call him out, Sir Action Slacks. What an unbelievable dude. They were very supportive of smaller creators and doing things that the community, would just benefit from. But a lot of other creators tended to punch down. In fact, there's a lot of creators in the Dota 2 community who honestly refused to engage with me because I was like one of the small guys. And I remember telling myself, saying, you know what, if I'm ever in a position where I can help smaller creators, I'm going to do it, because I've been on the other side and I know how much of a big deal that even 50 extra subscribers might be, or just putting your name out there. I know how much of a big deal that can be. And I find myself incredibly fortunate to be in the position where I am one of the largest Marvel Snap content creators. And our platform that Cozy and I built together, the Snapchat, is the premier podcast platform of Marvel Snap. So I take it as my responsibility to be the tide that lifts all ships. That's why on the podcast, I've been trying to incorporate many different types of guests. Large streamers, small streamers, large creators on YouTube, smaller creators on YouTube. I'm trying to incorporate a mix. Why? Not only for your personal enjoyment, but because I find it valuable to help smaller creators who I think are doing a phenomenal job in the scene, putting in a tremendous amount of work. Like, I'm getting a ton of props for doing work. There's other creators out there who also work full time and try to do this as a passion project, putting a tremendous amount of effort into their videos. But YouTube's system is just, it's non-conducive to blessing everyone. So, as someone who has the opportunity to have a legitimately positive impact on their ability to, gain an audience and be seen and have their work be showcased to the masses, I take that responsibility seriously, and I want to help those people find new audiences because they're very deserving of it. And YouTube and Twitch, it's not a fair game. It's been a popularity contest, right? And that's something that's not always fair, right? On Twitch, the people that are more popular, they stay at the top. It's just the way the system works. And if I'm able to shine a spotlight on smaller creators who are doing a phenomenal job, that's an absolute win. It's an absolute win for myself because I'm doing something that I truly believe in. It's also an absolute win for them because they're gaining exposure to a wider audience. And it's a massive win for you because you're being exposed to phenomenal creators who you might not have ever known even existed. And a lot of them producing phenomenal, diverse content. And so I've taken the opportunity on the Snapchat very seriously to try to amplify those messages and those people who I feel are doing a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes, because Marvel Snap is a lot of great content creators doing a lot of great work. And a lot of it's also behind the scenes, right? So I want to do everything I can to help amplify, their voices in what often feels like a massive void on the internet. This one I found particularly awesome. Alex is fearless about his online presence. Cozy gives him a hard time for things he's ignorant about, as rightfully should, but this man takes it in stride and keeps doing his thing. What I'll tell you here is that if you bump into me at Costco or if you bump into me at PAX, this is who you're getting. I've absolutely tried my absolute best to be as genuine as possible. And that's because I don't know how to be anyone else. I just know how to be me. And, for all the faults that I have, I think that that's something that I think is worth thinking about. When you look at a lot of content creators out there, especially ones that are like, in other games or high ranked or whatever it is, and everything's focused on, what rank are they? And if they fall off the rank, they fell off the game and blah, 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 they're not worth watching anymore. Think about like the way a lot of creators on Instagram or stuff like that, how they frame the way their lives are being portrayed. And it's like everything's just framed exactly how they want it to be. But I think that the true beauty is when you take those frames away and you just look at someone for all their faults. No, I'm not the best Marvel Snap player. No, I'm not the best card gaming player. If you watch me play Hades 2, I'm terrible at that too. But that's what makes my content, right? It's not about my rank. It's not about, all that kind of thing, all those superficial numbers and stuff. It's just about me doing something that I love, doing something that you love. And that's what it's about at the end of the day. And I think that like owning your faults is something that a lot of people struggle with in the content creator space, because when you're in front of audiences like millions of views a month, whatever it happens to be, your faults are often the things that people pick up on. When you mispronounce a word, when you don't do your hair properly, when whatever it happens to be, when you lose a game you should have won, or you misplay a turn or whatever, those are the things that some people fixate on. But those are what make you a human being. Those are what make you who you are, and those are the things that will persist when AI slop takes over YouTube and there's nothing left. And so I do think that while yes, I definitely do have faults, and no, I have not really eaten much actual authentic Chinese or Mexican food, these are all experiences that I can't wait to have. In fact, I'm thinking maybe we gotta make them a video series or something. We have some opportunities to do some really fun stuff there, right? But I really do think that being yourself is incredibly important. And I just got to say here that I could go through the whole thing for hours. It's just, I want you guys to know that I sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. I cannot begin to explain to you how fortunate I am, how blessed I am, and how I recognize those things, how I recognize how lucky I am to be able to, be engaged with such an amazing community that has truly been remarkable. Your kindness does not go unappreciated. The kind words that you share in the comment section on Reddit, on Discord, or wherever they may be, even in person for those that have seen me at PAX, they're sincerely appreciated, and you guys are the fuel that keeps my fire burning. Thank you. I would also like to mention that this type of positivity I think would pay great dividends in other content creator communities as well. If you're watching someone's video or engaging with their content and you think they're doing a good job, tell them. Because in Marvel Snap, listen, there's negativity around every corner, it would seem. And your positivity just might make all the world a difference to that particular creator. So let's all together be more supportive for everyone who's doing their best to make Marvel Snap's community the best it can be. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. I say that after every single video, and it is true. Thank you so much for all your kindness that you showed me. It will not go unappreciated. It means a lot to me and my family, and I hope to see you on that next one.